From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Welcome to misuse the freedom of expression to question openly on the streets of this country and the auditoriums of this country and the colleges and universities of this country. The sovereignty of India is the very definition of being an anti-national. We can have no more anti-national events in India. Since so many people have problems with me labeling them as anti-national, I want to make it very clear why I call them anti-national. And the immediate context is this, that yes, I fully support the decision of the government via the Delhi police to stop a pro-Pakistan and anti-India event titled Let Kashmir Speak be organized in Delhi. The idea is not to let Kashmir speak. The idea is to let Pakistan speak on the streets of India. If the so-called intellectuals who say that I am anti-democratic, by saying so, to them I ask that when some of them like parasites go to the East-West Center in Hawaii, on the indirect funding of the American government and the American establishment, and sit there on the beaches of Hawaii to attack India on American money, let them stand on the beaches of Hawaii and start a campaign against American sovereignty. And let them see then the lesson that they would be given for life by the American security establishment. Ladies and gentlemen, the sovereignty of India is sacred. The sovereignty of India is not the subject of a Jholawala event in Lutyens, Delhi. And so I will say this, and I am not being radical in saying so, that 370 is gone. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. And it is time we now shut down the pro-370 brigade as well. And yes, I think that the pro-370 brigade are an infectious bunch of anti-nationals. These are the people who have for long carried the name of activists, media, general social workers to mask their anti-India activities. Going forward, since it is going to be India's century, we need to make it impossible for these anti-national activities to soak the advantages of Indian democracy to justify their tukre stuff. Lock up the anti-nationals for good, I say, not just stop their events, but the hashtag for tonight says it all. No more anti-national events in India. If you know of anti-national events anywhere in the country, ladies and gentlemen, no more anti-national events in India. Doesn't matter which city or under which forum. If you know of anti-national events in India, it is your absolute responsibility as a conscientious Indian citizens to call them out and go straight to the police about it. Ladies and gentlemen, debate number 2 tonight. There is no opposition. Sharad Pawar walks out. Aam Aadmi Party walks out. Even Mamata Banerjee walks out. There is no opposition unity. Hashtag the march that failed. The march that failed is a march to disaster. And debate number 3 tonight, those who peddled lies on the Delhi riots and tried to defame Hindus. The attempted defaming of the Hindu community exposed once again with the latest developments. That is at 10:30 p.m. And here are the headlines this Wednesday evening on the debate tonight. The anti-nationals' attempt to regroup has failed. An anti-India event is cancelled in the national capital. Lobby tries to push the pro-Pakistan line in India using Kashmir censorship garb.
हमारी आवाज को दबाना चाहते हैं। बस सीधा हम रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, हमको प्रोसेशन में वहां जाने दीजिए, हमारी बात को वहां ईडी के सामने रखने दीजिए।
The opposition mark fizzles out and flops. Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar boycott the march to the ED. They called it a unifying factor. Even the ED glue, it seems, cannot bring them together. mass media narrative demolished the judgment on the Delhi riots, says communally motivated mob targeted the Hindu community. And the US banking crisis has spiraled out of control. Credit Suisse stocks at a record low, fall by 30%. Most American banking stocks face a rout. Ladies and gentlemen, in the national capital, there was a full-fledged plan to hold an event against Indian sovereign interests to echo the Pakistani line, an event promoted actively by Pakistan and from Pakistan, an event that was eventually cancelled but raises very big questions on the mystery of those who organized it. Is shutting down an anti-India event enough, or is it time to lock up the gang behind it? Let's debate.
It was an event to undermine the integrity of India right in the heart of national capital under the garb of the slogan, "Let Kashmir Speak." It was an event actively promoted and supported by Pakistan in their media and on social media.
Earlier today, the Delhi police cancelled the event, citing that they did not have details of the anonymous group and had credible information of a possible law and order disturbance.
Those listed as panelists have questionable antecedents.
It's all about the same cabal who have been eulogizing and propagating the anti-India narrative, and the likes of Yasin, the friends of Yasin Malik, and the separatist ideology. That's the whole cabal that had gotten together here. And I, as a lone voice of rationality and nationalism, was here to kind of counter the narrative and ask them a question as to why it's so lopsided.
The NAPM, that is named as an associate, is the same body that made a case for urban Naxals. The Bhim Army is the same group that wanted 1,000 Shaheen Baghs in India.
आपकी ईमानदारी, आपकी सच्चाई, आपकी मेहनत की वजह से आज कम से कम 1,000 शाहीन बाग हो चुके हैं देश में.
The CPIM leader listed as a speaker was a man who met Musharraf in the past. In fact, the hall for the anti-India event was booked on the letterhead of Swaraj Abhiyan.
Swaraj Abhiyan giving the platform to such voices is not correct. Don't you think so?
Not giving the platform for that matter.
Did Swaraj Abhiyan not check in the first place that who are these speakers?
Is Swaraj Abhiyan a law and order authority?
But you are booking the venue. Don't you think that you are responsible?
But in the first place, they don't have any problem with the speakers. If they would have the problem with the speakers, the Gandhi Peace Foundation would have told us, informed us.
Swaraj Abhiyan is led by Yogendra Yadav, who was last seen joining Rahul Gandhi's walkathon and found a presence in picture of meetings with now arrested Umar Khalid ahead of the 2020 riots. It's a clear attempt to regroup the Tukde Tukde gang. Can Indian soil be allowed to propagate a pro-Pak line anymore? Let's debate.
Shyam Prasad Mika of the Congress, Nilanjan Das from Kolkata, Jahangir Ali from Srinagar. He's a political commentator, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress, Ratan Sharda, Sushil Pandit, Smita Prakash of ANI, and Arti Tikku Singh. Arti, first, I find it remarkable that these people actually thought that they would get away with it. I mean, I thought that when the JNU event happened, when this Tukde gang was exposed, and even after, how they have been exposed for their involvement in trying to create riots in Delhi, that they would have learned their lesson, but they're relentless. They are relentless. They want to really sort of patronize the anti-India activity in the heart of Delhi. How do you think they thought they would get away? How are they operating still?
Arnab, let us have no illusion that this entire gang, the Tukde gang, if you remember the Tukde gang, which involved a lot of Kashmiri Muslim separatists, we must ask, where are they? Were they even arrested? Who is protecting them? Who protected them then and who is protecting them now? So let's not be under any illusion that, the Tugde gang has disappeared. Their patrons have disappeared. Their patrons are not in power anymore. The patrons remain in power. And unfortunately, this system, this country, this overall civil society seems to be completely blinded, or does not even want to go there, does not even want to question that entire system, that entire cabal, which propagated sedition and with impunity in this country. We must ask, do we have a sedition law or do we not have a sedition law? If we do have a sedition law, why aren't these people getting booked? And people who have been booked, for example, a lot of people, Gautam Naulakha, we know that the judiciary of this country actually woke up in the middle of the night to grant him bail. So what are we talking about? We should be under no illusion that this cabal, which had been in power for over last 3 decades, more than 3 decades, they are still in power. Have no confusion about, no doubt about it. Whether it's the Modi government, whether it's the UPA government, NDA government, no matter who comes to power, this cabal remains in power.
But it's
so
I want to ask, since you have said, since you have said here that the Tukre gang you are telling me, and viewers, what Aarti is saying is of considerable interest to me, and I'm sure to a lot of you. She's saying that Arnab, the Tukre gang is very much alive. It is getting sponsorship. It has money. It has networks, it has patrons, and then it's a matter of great concern that if how many years, 2015-16 the Tukre event happened, you're saying 7 years have passed and the Tukre gang is thriving, and today's developments actually prove it, then the question is, how are they thriving? And I put my question to the two Congress leaders here today, Lokesh and Shyam Prasad Mika. You know, Lokesh and Mr. Mika, the venue for this anti-national event was booked via a letter on the letterhead of the Swaraj Abhiyan by a man called Puneet Kumar, who claims to be part of the Y4S, some Youth for Swaraj DY coordinator of Swaraj Abhiyan. So he's a part of Yogendra Yadav's organization. Yogendra Yadav's organization, therefore, is the backbone of the event. And as we all know, Yogendra Yadav is associated with the Vadra Congress Party, right? Therefore, you need to tell us whether the Congress Party is therefore the indirect supporter of these anti-national events.
No. How do we define an anti-national event?
Oh, okay.
Was this particular event anywhere criticizing India? No,
yes.
It was questioning the government's policy.
No. 1 minute. Okay, since did you ask a question? Do you want me to answer it? 1 minute. Just a minute. Just hold on right there. We have this broad sweeping stuff going on right now. Are you noticing, Smita? Who is a terrorist? What is terrorism? What is violence? What are the philosophical underpinnings of violence? What is anti-national? What is national? Who are we to define it? We must live in this large, amorphous, crazy situation which we call the vast democratic experiment, which we must then go to our ex-colonizer and then say Indian democracy is dead. What kind of a mad argument is that? I'm sorry to say, I don't meant to question your mental stability or call you mad, so don't respond to that. But it is a mad argument. You are saying, was India, it is being said in the event that it is Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Okay? Now, this event, according to the press release, calls for the end of repression in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. 1. B, the event is booked via the letterhead of the Swaraj Abhiyan. The head of this Swaraj Abhiyan, the person who cannot even win a residence cooperative society election, Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra Yadav, part of the Vadra Congress officially, and talking about illegally occupied Kashmir. And Smita and Sushil, he's saying what is anti-national about it. I rest my case.
Can I come in?
No, I rest my
make
case.
A point, Arnab?
I rest my case. Tell me what is the link between Yogendra Yadav, the Vadra Congress and this anti-national stuff? Tell me.
Can I answer, Arnab?
Why are you being so polite with me saying, can I answer, can I answer? What happened
No,
to you today?
because I hope that you are done with your questions so I can begin my answers.
I am never done. But for now you can answer.
So for now I can answer.
Yeah.
Look, Arnab, at one point of time, since you talk about India's colonization, you must have heard about Dadabhai Nauroji. He went to Britain. And over there, he formed an India House where he stated that what democracy was, and he criticized Britishers' policies. So over here, he was not condemned. He was not criticized. There were conservatives there, but still there were liberals who did support him. The point is, if you look at the entire incident from a conservative mindset, you will end up narrating every such incident of civil society as an attack on India. But if you consider this as some form of a way of free speech, whereby every individual, irrespective of what their lineage, or what their bias is, what their perspective is free to come out with their own opinions, ideas, and thereby enter into deliberation, have some form of a feedback mechanism, have a functioning deliberative democracy, I would say that's a healthy
This is so
trend.
funny. This is you're so funny, you know. As I debate with you more and more, I find you funnier and funnier and funnier.
It's the feeling is mutual from both the ends.
Yeah,
trust me.
I know.
I find you equally funny and entertaining.
I find it so amusing. Thank you so much. The question here is this: that you are saying that there must be a deliberation. Smita, we are undemocratic, right-wing, communal people with a closed, narrow mindset. We are not ready to deliberate. We are not ready to deliberate Indian sovereignty. I mean, come on, Smita, you disappoint me. You are such a conservative person. Be liberal. Be liberal like Lokesh. LLL, liberal like Lokesh. Yes, go on.
Yeah. To be liberal is to use the name of Dadabhai Nauroji and Yogendra Yadav and Rahul Gandhi in the same breath. I beg to differ. Now, coming to the debate, you know, Arnab, this cabal who wanted to have this this seminar, conference, whatever you want to call it, these are people who are desperate to be relevant to the public discourse. So, are they irrelevant? And should we dismiss them ki ye to bekar log hai, kya farak padta hai? They just want to be relevant. I don't think so, because the fact is that they right now might be irrelevant, but and before anybody rolls their eyes, and just give me a few more seconds, they can be relevant. They can become relevant all over again, and dangerous in that. Why? Because of the narrative that they peddle, that freedoms are under threat in India. And this finds echo in voices from within India, which finds echo within voices abroad. And then what happens? There's this entire cabal of leftist narrative builders who don't want India to succeed under a conservative government. And they don't want that to happen. So that narrative becomes louder and louder in this echo chamber. And then it finds resonance in rating agencies and organizations which give numbers and ratings to us that foreign investors look at. And then what happens? FDI, all these things get impacted. Then there is, exit of foreign capital. We don't want flight of foreign capital happening from these worm-like people who start from this grassroots level, holding chota conferences and then trying to be relevant to politicians here, politicians abroad. And the loss of relevance in a world is extremely important. We don't want India right now to be irrelevant to the world. We want to be part of the international narrative, and that narrative has to be a positive narrative. As soon as these things cause doubts in the mind of people that India doesn't have systems in place, that freedoms are in peril, that media freedoms don't exist, that citizens don't have a right of speech, that Kashmir is under threat all over again. These things which are irrelevant today in India, they are trying to revive this kind of dissonance so that there is instability about India in the rest of the world. So that is what is dangerous. So it's not as if these are irrelevant people. These tiny voices get amplified by the people within this country abroad.
Yeah, so, can we just go into the detail out here right now? Smita, going forward here, tell me if you have outsourced this kind of activity to these groups, Mr. Meka, Congress party, so say it, Nilanjan, Jahangir Ali. See, Yogendra Yadav's organization's member paid money to book an event, right? You don't have to book an event in a clandestine way. If you have decided to be tukre tukre, be open tukre tukre. Don't be secret tukre tukre. You know what is more dangerous or more dirty than being closet tukre tukre? It's being open tukre tukre. Actually, I think it's good. If Nilanjan, for example, you are open tukre tukre, it's better. But to be closet tukre tukre, clandestine tukre tukre is disgraceful. Tell me, what should we do with these clandestine tukre tukre people? They come together, they say campaign against state repression in India. And then when you catch them, they say, oh, we are stupid, innocent and irrelevant people. I don't understand this logic, Sushil. To Americans, when they go there for money, they say we are very relevant. When they are caught by the police in India, they say they are irrelevant. You decide. You decide, but we are not going to allow anti-national events in India anymore. Mr. Meka, what is your party's link with these kind of tukre groups? I think you need to be a little open about it.
Arnab, first of all, okay, the government of India has denied the permission. We need to see the reasons, and then we can, in the interest
why
of
has it denied?
speech or anything, we can pass a comment. Then why did you bring in Congress into this? And why are you so eager to bring up everything and want Congress to answer for it? See, if somebody want to have a meeting...
Do you want me to answer the question? Do you want me to answer that question, or was it a rhetorical question?
No, I'm answering a question.
No, you are answering your own question, or do you want me to answer the question? Because I thought you asked me the question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll since nowadays, nowadays I speak less on my program, I'll say just one line, I'll hand it over to Sushil. See, Yogendra Yadav runs some kind of a fuddy-duddy organization called Swaraj Abhiyan. Swaraj Abhiyan has backed this event, right? And Yogendra Yadav is the face of the Bharat Toro Yatra, right? He has become...
Now I take an objection to that. Is it a stutter, or are you doing it intentionally?
Really?
No, come on.
Really?
Come on, Arnab.
1 minute. I don't stutter. The last thing I do is stutter. I'm very, very clear about what I say. Right? Now, I'm telling you, you do realize that there is this event got a lot of support from Pakistan. Why would the Congress party be indirectly associated with an event which has support from Pakistan?
Arnab,
Arnab,
I want to ask two questions to you.
Don't ask me any questions, man.
Arnab,
I'm only anchoring nowadays.
No, because you ask questions to everybody. I must program to ask you questions.
You and your viewers.
First question: where have you heard that Mr. Yogendra Yadav's organization has called it illegally occupied Kashmir?
Yes. You asking me?
Where is the letter?
You are asking.
Please,
are
yes,
you asking me? Are you asking me?
Produce the evidence
are you?
Yes.
Oh God.
I am asking.
Are you asking?
Yogendra Yadav is a member of a registered political party, the Swaraj India Party. So you mean to say that person is calling Jammu and Kashmir, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, as illegally occupied Kashmir?
Okay. You have finished asking your question, then I'll get to Sushil.
No, this is my first question. And secondly...
No, but I want to answer your first question, Elijah.
No, the second question. No.
Don't escape.
Is even more interesting.
Don't escape.
Second question...
Don't try to escape.
No, the second question...
I'm answering your first question.
It will increase your TRP.
Very high.
The Tukre gang, this closeted Tukre gang, they featured in West Bengal. They call for the division of North Bengal. It is a party known as BJP that is unfortunately ruling our country. That is the closet Tukre gang. Okay. And what we need to do about this, we need to democratically defeat this party.
Oh, okay. Understood. So it's a wonderful, it's like, I'll tell you what, it's like someone said about Western civilization. They said it's a great idea. So I think you are also following up on a great idea. That,
Are you talking about?
No, I'm saying to you, it's a great idea, but fight them in elections. You see, okay. Now the question being,
No. Are you talking about the relevant issues or no? You are not even talking about the issues that matter to the people.
I'm going to Sushil on this. Okay.
You are talking about
I'm going to Sushil on this. Sushil, this event, according to the press release, was being held to, quote unquote, demand the release of all Kashmiri political prisoners and lifting of media restrictions and repression in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir will be raised by participants of a seminar to be held in India's capital, New Delhi. According to the press release, the event was going to highlight, quote, Modi's regime's repressive policies in India and Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. An Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir in the name of a campaign against state repression.
Stop misleading your people. Stop misleading your people.
I feel that whenever there is something as anti-national as this,
misleading the public. You are quoting.
I feel that whenever there is something as anti-national as this which is going to happen, it is the responsibility of every Indian citizen to dissociate from it and not associate with it.
Goswami and Republic TV is doing a disservice
Arnab, may I come in now?
Nilanjan, I've answered you now. Sushil is here.
You are quoting from Pakistan Observer website. It's a Pakistani website. Why are
you One minute. So, oh God, Nilanjan, stop it, no? Nilanjan, stop it, no? Nilanjan, stop it.
Thank you, Nilanjan.
Stop it, no? I'm telling you nothing. I'll just say one thing before I go to Sushil. If anything happens in India, Nilanjan, you become a very boring, irritating monotone after that. You're not even a baritone, you're a monotone.
I heard a boring monotone. I heard a podcast from someone.
Okay, now question goes to Sushil out here. Sushil, I would say this, that if there are events which are organized in India, which are part of the Pakistani deep state's attempts in Jammu and Kashmir, then it is the responsibility of all right-thinking Indians not to associate with it. It's as simple as that. Why would you associate with it?
It's the responsibility of the government to arrest such people.
And why would these events happen in the first place? No. I am reminded of what happened about 12 years ago.
It's back.
This is October 2. The event was held called Azadi the Only Way. Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, Arundhati Roy, Varavara Rao, and people like them assembled. And I was a witness to that event. I wanted to see how far they go. They chanted slogans like Bharat, like Bhukha Nanga Hindustan, Jaan se Pyara Pakistan.
Shame.
There was, mayhem. You had speeches after speeches calling for dismemberment of the country. I waited for 1 week. I thought government will take cognizance. It was barely a kilometer as the crow flies from our parliament. And there was call to dismember India because India was a colonizing state, was a successor colonizing state to 17 nationalities that India was and not a one nation. I waited for a week, and when Chidambaram, the then Home Minister, said that not taking an action is also an action, I went and filed an FIR. That FIR is still languishing. It went to the crime branch. They said, we have put together a charge sheet, but that charge sheet hasn't been filed till today.
Lost him there. I lost him there. I replace him with Ratan Sharda on that window. Okay, he's back.
An intellectual argument, Arnab, I must tell you, this intellectual argument has cost us a genocide in Kashmir. This intellectual argument has cost us more lives of our soldiers than all the wars since independence put together. This argument reminds me of what Mufti Muhammad Saeed once said, that our democracy should be large-hearted enough to have even separatist ideas in it. Jihad must find a space in our democracy.
Shame.
This is how they subvert us from within. Our judiciary, our democracy, our academia, our media are subject to subversion day in and day out because of these lopsided ideas. And they ask you for definition of anti-national. We paid a huge
isn't
price to
there
these anti-nationals since independence.
But isn't there also, Sushil, along with this, an industry that is operating out of Lutyens, Delhi that makes a lot of money out of it? Nilanjan, put your phone down. And isn't there an industry which makes a lot of money out of it? Jahangir, when that industry dies, right, that industry must be killed, in my view. The industry. That industry must not be allowed to survive.
Well, that industry, I think, exists in your mind only.
No, I'm saying it does exist. It does exist. And that industry must be asphyxiated, in my view. Because I'll tell you why. Pakistani media handles have been supporting this event. And they have been using this event to refer to Jammu and Kashmir as Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And you, Jahangir, sitting in Srinagar on Indian soil, have no right, you do not have the right under my constitution to support an event like this. This is my view. Am I making myself clear to you, Jahangir?
This is the constitution that you are quoting. For me, the constitution is absolute.
Yeah, the constitution is absolute to me.
You know, I have 2 points to make.
No. 1 minute. The constitution is okay. So let's debate this point. 1 minute.
Number one is please.
Jahangir, I want to ask you something.
Started it all over again.
Jahangir, listen.
You invite me to your debates and then you don't let me speak.
No, I want to let you speak, but I want to let you speak as an answer to my question. Can I ask the question?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Now, the question is, I believe in the Constitution. The Constitution says that you cannot question Indian sovereignty. Article 19(1)(a), there are obvious restrictions to this. Okay. Now, when you speak on Indian soil about Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, when you attack the Indian army, or when you say, okay, I'm not going to call it Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, I will talk about India's repression. And my Pakistani friends will run a social media campaign around it, calling it Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, then I feel that you are very conveniently trying to divide the responsibility. You know, you create a halla in Delhi, attack the Indian army, and your Pakistani friends use this to create a campaign against Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which is their terminology, right? And pro-Pakistan handles then promote this event and say the UN must intervene, etc. So you are taking a very clear anti-India position, and pro-Pakistan and pro-Khalistan handles are also start promoting this in their Facebook groups. There are suddenly a lot of Pakistani Twitter handles which are trending the hashtag from Pakistan Twitter handles. This is not a damn coincidence, Jahangir. Is it a coincidence that hashtag Let Kashmir Speak is the official campaign launched by the Pakistani government? You think I'm going to be blind to this? You think this is funny? You think it is funny that a official Pakistan promoted campaign has the exact same name as this event which was happening in Lutyens, Delhi? And you are saying, no, it's my right under Indian democracy to do what the hell I want. Well, I'm telling you, Jahangir, you cannot do what the hell you want anymore. And that is my view. And I believe that you are violating the Indian Constitution if you insist on doing this. Have I made myself clear? Now please respond to whatever I've said.
I really don't know the question you were asking because it was a long monologue, but I would like to make a couple of points. One is that you have spoken a lie, and I think you should be decent enough to issue an apology about the statement which you said called it an Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which is not the case.
One minute. Oh, there goes Ratan Sharda. There goes. This was the terminology being used, and I have said this was the wrong terminology being used, and I'm using the example. 1 minute. I'm using the example to talk about the social media campaign being conducted by the friends of this event from Pakistan.
Why are you shouting on top of me?
No, you need to answer.
Let me make my point. The second point that I wanted to make that it is unfortunate.
Yes,
it is
please
unfortunate.
Make your point so I can respond.
It is unfortunate that an editor of one of the largest news agencies is calling a serving member of parliament a worm. Do you know who the participants in this event were going to be? You have a serving member of parliament in Lok Sabha from the National Conference. He has served as a retired judge in Jammu and Kashmir High Court. You have a legislator who has been elected from Jammu and Kashmir Assembly for 5 or 6 times in a row. And then you have an editor as a panelist who calls them worms. I think this is very sad. And to talk about this denial of space,
it depends on what they're saying.
Part of a larger
doesn't depend on how long they're serving,
adopted by the
how long they're MP or MLA. It depends
to criminalize
on what
any
they're
form
saying.
of dissent. I think the Constitution gives rights to the people
This is not
to
dissent.
make a point.
I think
to
it's
have
completely
their say,
no.
to raise
Okay,
their
so
grievances.
Jahangir.
These are constitutionally guaranteed rights.
No.
And citizens are supposed
So why
to
don't you do one thing, Jahangir? Jahangir, 1 minute. Have you been to the East-West Center in Hawaii yet, or have you been invited there yet? Have you been invited to any of those chota-mota American state universities on indirect American money as so-called fellowship? Because when you go there next time, if you have ever been invited, I'll tell you.
Making insinuations?
Nah, it's okay. I'm sure you haven't. But have you been invited by anyone from the Phi Circuit yet, by the way?
How does it concern this debate?
Oh, of course it does. Oh my God,
I was
Sushil.
invited as a panelist.
Oh God, I got him on the back foot, man. I bowled a googly.
My resume.
I bowled a damn good googly.
No, I'm not on the back foot, or no. I'm not on the back foot. You still haven't apologized for lying to your viewers.
He has been speaking a lot about Constitution. Can I respond
on
now?
national television.
Well, I got you, all of you guys on the back
Can I
foot.
speak now?
I'm just saying that next time you go to America on American government funded money, go to America, stand in Arizona, abuse the American state and abuse the concept of American sovereignty, ask for the breakup of America, and then let's see what kind of treatment they give you and what business class ticket they give you on the way back, Jahangir. Open your eyes, man.
Apologize for lying.
Open your eyes, man. What's the apology out here? As far as M.Y. Tarigami is concerned, as far as Mr. M.Y. Tarigami is concerned, as far as Mr. M.Y. Tarigami is concerned, for I don't call anybody a worm, but I would certainly say this, that Mr. M.Y. Tarigami is a CPIM leader, who had gone to Pakistan to meet Parvez Musharraf in 2006. Am I saying anything factually incorrect? I'm sure Mr. M.Y. Tarigami greatly respected Parvez Musharraf, who he went all the way to Pakistan to meet in 2006. And then, listen to me, I'm not completed. I've only just started.
Our own Prime Minister
I've not started. I've started, man. I've started.
Our Prime Minister has gone to Pakistan.
I've started. Yeah.
And he has met the Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Does that make him a criminal?
No, I'll tell you.
Tarigami is not Prime Minister, my dear friend.
No.
Tarigami is not a Prime Minister. Are you equating this guy Tarigami with Mr. Modi?
Fine.
He can go anywhere.
Your point.
He can go anywhere.
Brilliant.
Because he's head of the state.
No, Ratan Sharda, one line, can I continue? One line, Ratan Sharda.
Okay.
There is something called this, what is it? Wash? What is it? Pugwash. There is some American NGO called Pugwash. Pugwash invited Tarigami, I think. Did he go? Did Tarigami go on Pugwash invitation to go and meet Musharraf in 2006 in Pakistan, which you say is his democratic right? Absolutely so. But then did he ask India, Ratan Sharda, to withdraw troops from Kashmir? An American NGO takes you to Pakistan, you have a nice cup of coffee with Musharraf, and you come back and you say that India should withdraw troops from Kashmir. I'm not okay with that, Ratan Sharda. I'm not okay with that. No Indian should be okay with that. I oppose that.
None of us is okay. My first objection to what these people are saying is, they keep on talking of constitution. We had a Jammu Kashmir constitution for 70 years in which the word minority didn't appear. There was no word called minority in the so-called Jammu Kashmir constitution. So what are the rights of minorities? Point two, if Jammu Kashmir is one, whether this Indian Jammu Kashmir or the Pak-occupied POJK, they are one, then how come the human rights of people in Jammu Kashmir and POJK were never discussed by these worthy people who talk of human rights? Is human rights only partial? It is only one way or selective? They cancelled the voice of people. Was there any person who didn't like this idea? Was there any patriotic Muslim from Kashmir or Kashmiri Hindus there who suffered for 70 years? Did they ever speak up? When POJK people never got any benefit from the power generation there, dams that there no, jara shanti rakho yaar, last aaya hu main. Shanti rakho, haath niche karo, baat karne do mujhe.
Oh, big
so
fight
you had
on
this
tonight.
issue of they have dams, they have power generation. nothing goes to POJK. Did they ever speak about it? Before 370 was removed, there was no rights for 1 million people who were refugees from Pakistan. POJK refugees who were given the rights, 33,633 cases, 1,450 crores were given to them after 370 was removed in 2014. So do these people not matter? Women's right, Dalit right, Safai Karmachari right, the
big fight.
Right. Didn't they have any right? Did anybody ever speak about them? Give one example where they spoke about them. Then this is a clear access of new left, the Islamists, the liberals, so-called seculars, who have come together and they are creating different platforms to make all this noise. We said, what happens? Mr. Eric Garrity has clearly said in his testament that I will fight for human rights. I will talk to civil society. So these messages are not going to India. These messages are going to from these beggars to these people. So America will interfere. America will get about human rights and they will benefit from it. So let us understand the very larger conspiracy with these innocent people either do not understand. Congressperson asked, what is the role of Congress in this debate? He forgets that Congress was ruling with their friends for 70 years. It supported 370. Congress said if they came to power, they will bring back 370. And these are the people under whose nose Kashmiri Hindu thrown out of Jammu Kashmir. And these people say, what is my role? Your role is very much there. The condition of Jammu Kashmir is what it is today.
Do you know who is
because of you.
Hoon?
And did anybody for POJK ever come for
1 minute, you are asking
seminar?
a question.
No, your seminars are
No, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second.
POJK people.
Yeah, 1 second.
Jammu Kashmir.
Nilanjan, don't shout.
Did you ever take a seminar for Kashmiri Hindus?
I need to ask a
Did
question.
you ever take a seminar for the refugees from Pakistan? No. Did you ever take a seminar for women rights after the 1990?
1 minute. Okay, Ratan Sharda, let's give others their turn now. This is a great debate. This is a great debate. This is a great debate. The great debate. Can I have the...
Ratan Sharda, I have a question for you. Do you know who is Lieutenant General Hoon? Lieutenant General Hoon is a RSS member. He was in the army and his son got married to Nawaz Sharif's brother's daughter. It's a high-profile marriage. And over here, he was an ex-army man getting his son married to a Pakistan politician. The point is,
Smita is on the debate. Smita and Aarti Tikku are coming back on the debate. Smita and Aarti Tikku. On that example, you got Smita and Aarti Tikku on the left. 1 second.
I must ask Mr. Ratan Sharda, who were the last two chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir? Why did the BJP support the PDP? Answer that.
Bloody hypocrites.
Now are you abusing?
No, 1 minute. What is the relevance of General Hoon?
BJP and RSS are the biggest hypocrites.
What is this?
What is the relevance of General Hoon? How dare you
word.
bring in a war hero?
Oh please, Madam Podcaster.
I'm talking about...
No, this is so wrong.
No, 1 second. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Can I, Smita, 1 minute. Can I come in here, please? Mr. Google search, put your phone down. I don't allow free advertising for any telephone on my program. Put it down. No, 1 minute. No, Smita, because he's trying to digress from the debate, and he has given your podcast, your very successful podcast, multiple reference of free advertising. So viewers, I will add to it, though I never give any free advertising. I agree that Smita does a fantastic podcast, and if you have a complex about not being able to do a podcast, call her and she'll tell you how to do one. Question goes here now, viewers. Question goes here, viewers. The question goes here.
BJP is the hypocrite. You Arnab.
Okay, now Nilanjan, listen.
Arnab, show some spine sometimes.
I can't show my spine. Now listen to me. I'm looking straight at you. Okay, now listen to me. I'm just being funny.
Stop crawling all the time.
Okay, now here point is, see, in the name of a campaign against quote-unquote state repression, I find, Aarti, that the same coterie surfaces every time. And I am very interested in finding out. There is a group which is fighting for urban Naxals. There is a group which is opposed to the UAPA. Right? One of the speakers, since we are talking about individuals, who was promoted on the poster of this event, is somebody who is a signatory to a letter demanding the release of Asif Sultan, who, according to the Kashmir police, is an overground worker of the band Ansar Ghazwat-ul-Hind. So there are people here who are supporters of terrorists and terrorist groups. There's another person who's going to speak who asked the Indian army to withdraw troops and went all the way to Pakistan to have a cup of coffee with Parvez Musharraf. Then there is apparently a person called Sanjay Kak who ran down Hinduism in Kashmir, Sushil, in an interview to the Pakistani media saying, and I quote, "The Brahminical specialist stranglehold." I repeat, no, let me please speak. The Brahminical specialist stranglehold on Kashmir is broken. This is the kind of phrase that they have used. There is another person who was slated to speak, right, who says that India has illegally occupied Kashmir and has been quoted in the Pakistani media as saying so. Do you want me to give you, see, it is a coterie, okay? I feel it is a coterie. It is the same group. Yeah.
Arnab, this coterie is essentially the coterie that sustained the conflict entrepreneurship of Kashmir for last 30 years. They are not really jhola chap. Unfortunately, this word does not really reflect the kind of industry that they have been running for over 3 decades. They are the ones who have benefited from this conflict, from the violence, from terrorism, from Pakistan's cross-border terrorism and Islamic jihad. They are the ones who are minting money out of it. They are the ones who've been going on junkets. They are the ones who like to party and wine and dine and, hang out with Pakistani generals and diplomats. And they love to do all the track to Aman Ka Tamasha, and all that pugwash, which is essentially a hogwash. These people have fed on the blood of Kashmiri people, on the blood of Kashmiri Hindus who were subjected to genocide. As Sushilji rightly pointed out, this entire brigade which sustained this conflict industry has been, they have made an empire out of the blood of Kashmiri Hindus. We are the sufferers, we are the victims, we gave our blood, and all these people that they have, they've been running this anti-Indian narrative. They've been hanging out with their Pakistani friends, they sing poetry, they sing Faz Ahmed Faz in their parties and in their meetings.
No, I think their game is up. And I want to tell you, Jahangir, don't worry. You can do all of this in Pakistan, not in India. Game is up in India, Jahangir. Game is up in India. Ladies and gentlemen, when I'm back on the other side, they planned this long picnic to the Enforcement Directorate office, and they said we'd all hold hands and walk together. And lo and behold, half the opposition opted out, half couldn't make it. There has to be an opposition, but this march today's of the so-called opposition was a really embarrassing flop. When I come back, we'll talk about that and the consequences of that in a few minutes.